Sorry. Before that, I had something to say about
Being recorded.
Purim and Shemitah wine. I was asked a few times about what happens in Purim with Shemitah wine. If somebody has grape juice or wine, Shemitah Otzar Beidin, and there are today at least 4 different Batei Dinim that I know that offer wine or grape juice to buy, which was made by farmers who kept Shemitah, and through Otzrot Beitin that sell it for relatively cheap. And there were 2 questions I was asked. The first one, can you give a mishloach manot, a wine or grape juice, which is Shemitah? Because you're not supposed to give a chov. If you have a chov, a debt to someone, you're not supposed to give the Shemitah produce as a priat chov. And so that's the first thing. Can you give Shemitah wine as a mishloach manot? The main psak is that you can give it, but not at the first mishloach manot. That is, you're required to do, but on the second one, and to make sure you have 2 other items besides it. So if you have a small, I don't know, Shemitah wine and 2 other products, it's not a problem. That's our psak in the Institute. I'm sure before Purim there will be other rabbis speaking about it. The second thing is, I have Shemitah wine. Can I drink it in the Seudat Purim? What's the problem? Why not? So the problem may be that if you drink it in Purim Seuda, not everything will come to my cup or to me. If I have drunk people and I have Shemitah wine, so there is a chance that some of it will spill, or maybe I'll puke, etc. Am I allowed to do it? We had an interesting discussion in the Institute, and the psak was that yes, you can do it, because that's the code. That's the way to use a Shemitah wine. So you can use it even for Seudat Purim. Okay. Now that was the introduction. Now let's talk about Kibud Orim. So I want to talk a bit about what ages is Kibud Orim more relevant. We'll see an interesting idea of Rabbeinu Bechayei. And the main of the show, I want to talk about Rav Asi in the Gemara, taking care of his old mother. And I think from it we can learn a lot about respecting Kibud Orim when our parents are older and become more and more ill and sick. What are the options to take care of them? Where should they live at the end of their life? The parents, by the kids, with a worker, Philippine worker, or in an age home? Halachically, what does the halacha say? And at the end, to see a very interesting psak of the Tzitz Eliezer connected to this, all come from the Gemara in Kiddushin. Let's start. Questions before we start? No. Okay. Can you see the page? Just Mitch Wolf, just do it with your head. Can you see it? You can see? Wait. Lionel Epstein, can you see the page? It's in Hebrew, but can you see it? Wait. Can you see? Yes? Okay. Okay, I can't hear anyone, so can you unmute everyone?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes,
You
we
can
can
see.
see
Thank
it.
you. Okay, let's start. Thank you. And the shiur is based on a shiur I heard from Rav Professor Yigal Shafran from Yerushalayim. It's based on what I heard from him when I learned the 2nd degree in science and halacha in Bar Ilan, and afterwards I added a lot for myself. Okay. כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יאריכון ימיך על האדמה אשר השם אלוקיך נותן לך. We all know it, עשרת הדיברות, respecting your parents, and we will have a long life if we do that. איש אמו ואביו תיראו, the Torah says in ספר ויקרא, ואת שבתותיי תשמורו, אני השם אלוקיכם. So we have כבוד and we have יראה. If we would want to translate to English, how would we translate the terms kavod and yir'ah? So usually I think kavod will be respect. I think respect your parents. That's kibudorim. What's yir'ah? So yir'ah is usually fear or awe. That's kavod and yir'ah. But from the Shulchan Aruch, it looks a bit different. The Shulchan Aruch in Yoredea Siman Reish Mem, that's the siman about kibud orim, one siman, and he says as follows. Shulchan Aruch Yoredea Reish Mem Seif Aleph. צריך להיזהר מאוד בכבוד אביו ואמו ובמוראם. One should be very careful, מאוד, respecting his parents, kavod, and mora. First of all, the Shulchan Aruch brings me'od. He usually doesn't say you have to be very careful keeping Shabbat or keeping tzitzit or, I don't know, reading the Megillah. The me'od is a word which comes to tell us that there's something special here. You should be very careful with Kvod Aviv and Kvod Imo, and we will give an explanation a bit later. What does it mean, the me'od? And we will try to say that me'od because there are many situations it becomes very difficult at the end of life. And that's why maybe the Shulchan Aruch brings me'od. Okay. Now, what is mora and what is kavod? סעיף ב' איזהו מורה, לא יעמוד במקומו מיוחד לו לעמוד שם בסוד זקניו עם חבריו. Don't stand in a special place that he, his parent, your father, stands there with his friends and he talks. או מקום המיוחד לו להתפלל, a place, a special seat in shul, or at the house. Don't sit there. ולא ישב במקום המיוחד לו להסב בביתו. Don't sit in his chair in his house. If your father, mother have a special seat in the living room, don't sit there. ולא סותר את דבריו. If he says A, don't say B. ולא מכריע את דבריו בפניו. Don't say, Abba, what you said is not true. אפילו לומר נראים דברי אבא. ולא יקראנו בשמו, לא בחייו ולא במותו, אלא אומר אבא מרי. Don't call him with his name, not when he's alive, and not after he dies, אלא אומר אבא מרי. My father, Abba, my more, my teacher, don't say his name. So, okay. Another halacha, Seif Gimel. Ad heichan moraam. How much is mora avaim? היה בן לבוש חמודות ויושב בראש הקהל. ובאו אביו ואמו וקרעו בגדיו והיכוהו על ראשו וירקו בפניו. The son is sitting with a nice suit and a nice tie, and he sits at the front of the whole people, and his parents come and tear his clothes and hit him on his head and spit his face. לא יחלים אותם. He shouldn't tell them off. אלא ישתוק וירא מן מלך מלכי המלכים שציווהו בכך. One should be quiet and be afraid from God that told him not to have mora of his parents and not to tell them off, not to tell them to stop, to accept what they did. This is mora. We see here that mora is mainly what not to do. לא תעשה. Don't sit in his place, don't sit in his place, don't stand in his place, don't call in his name, don't shout at him. What not to do. Mora is, I would say, the lo ta'aseh. So what is the kavod? The aseh. Shulchan Aruch Yoredea Reish Mem Seif Daled. Ezeu kavod, ma'achil, ma'achilo, u'mashkehu, malbish, u'mchase, machnis, u'motzi. To give him food, to give him drinks, to to dress him, to undress him, to take him out, to take him in, that's kavod. And חייב לכבדו אפילו אחר מותו. כיצד, how do you do kavod after his death? If you say something from his name, till 12 months, till the year, you say, I say it in my name of Abba, Mari, Hareini, Kaparat Mishkavod. That's the kibud orim, even after they die. And if it's after a year, so you say the halacha or whatever, the story from your father, mother, from your parent, and you say, Zichronam Livracha. Okay. So this is, I think, known. Mora is what not to do. Kavod is what to do. But what I want to ask is, what age is the father or mother? When we talk about the Mora and Kavod, what the Shulchan Aruch says, what are we talking about? Are we talking about a kid with his parent? Are we talking about a teenager with his parent? Are we talking about a young adult that has kids, that he has an older father, mother? Or we're talking about somebody who is 60, 50, 60, 70, and his father is 80, 90. What are we talking about? So if we look at the Mora, lo yamod bimkomo, velo yeshev bimkomo, that looks like the son is young, a kid, a teenager, maybe, 20, 30, 40, and his parent is older. I don't know, 40, 50. But when we talk about kavod, what is kavod here? When the Shulchan Aruch says, Ma'achilo, mashkeo, malbishu, mchaseh, that's not when the father is 40 years old. That's when the son is 50, 60, and the father is 70, 80. That's when you have to do that. So we see here something very interesting, that even though we usually think that kibud orim, I tell my kids, kibud orim, respect me, listen to me, do what I tell you, kibud orim. From the Shulchan Aruch, it looks more that the kibud orim is mainly when they're already old and they can barely tell you what they want. You have to take care of them. Mora, so that's in younger ages. But from the Shulchan Aruch, it looks like the main mitzvah of kibud orim is when they are older. Maybe that's what the Shulchan Aruch says at the beginning, tzich lizaher me'od b'chvod aviv v'moram, because, and we will see with Ravasi, taking care of the parents when they're older is a very, very difficult thing. Rabbeinu Bechaye asks in the name of Rasag, why does the Torah tells us about arichut yamim? Kabel et avicha v'et imecha leman yarichun yamecha. You will have long life if you will respect your kids. Why do we have to get and kibud orim, this special reward of arichut yamim? So Rabbeinu Chaye says as follows. Number 2 here. ומה שקבע כתוב שכר הכבוד אריכות ימים, הגאון רב סעדיה ז"ל נתן טעם בזה, כי מפני שלפעמים עתידים שיחיו האבות עם הבנים זמן ארוך. Sometimes could be that the parents would live with the kids a long time. והאבות הם למסע כבד על הבנים. The parents are a burden, a heavy burden on their kids. והכבוד יכבד עליהם. It will be difficult to do כיבוד הורים. לכך קבע עליהם שכר המצווה הזאת למען יאריכון ימיך. That's why we get the reward of אריכות ימים. כלומר, עליך לכבדם ותחיה עמהם. You have to respect them and to live with them. ואם אולי תצטער על חייהם, if maybe you will be sorry on their life, דע שעל חייך אתה מצטער. You know that on your life you are sorry or מצטער. And this is a very strange sentence. What does it mean? ואם אולי תצטער על חייהם, דע שעל חייך אתה מצטער. Maybe the Rabbeinu Chaye says, could be sometime after years of taking care of your parents, and it's difficult, and you have your own kids, and they're becoming old, there will be a time that maybe you will tell yourself, you know what, it's too difficult for me. It's halevai, that this will end. maybe you will be sorry, you will tell yourself, listen, maybe I can't do anything, of course, but if it will stop, it will be easier for me. No, Rabbeinu Bechai says. Even then you remember, al chayecha ata mitztaer, because the longer they live, and you respect them, Rabbeinu Bechai says, so it's your life that will be longer, because you have the special reward of arichut yamim. That's what the Rabbeinu Bechai says. And maybe we can give a different explanation. And the different explanation says that when you respect your parents, even though it's difficult, so your life will be longer. Why? Because when your kids sees how you take care of your parents, so when you will be that old, and you will need somebody to take care of you, so your kids will tell themselves, wow, we learned that Kibud Orim is something, even if it's difficult, we will do again. So your life will be longer. You will get a reward of Arichut Yamim, according to this Perush, because if you respect your parents properly and take care of them, your kids will take care of you properly, and then your life will be longer because your kids will take care of you when you'll be older, and that's the second Perush of Arichut Yamim. Just one other pasuk of Mishlei. Ayin til'ag le'av v'tavuz le'ikat em. If you have an eye, a person that lil'og is to treat not properly to your father or mother, yikru ha'or ve'inachal ve'ochlu ha'or ve'bnei nesher. The crows, the birds will come and peck the eye. Eye that is laughing on the old parent will be punished. Questions till now? Okay. Now, we have an old person. What is the best option to take care of him? Or today we have three main options. I have a 70-year-old, 80-year-old parent. He starts to become difficult to take care of. We have three options. One is the kids should take care of him. To bring them into our house, we will go to his house, and the kids will take care of him. Second option, to bring a worker from the Philippines or somebody to deal with the parent, or the parents in their house to take care of them. It's not me, but somebody else will do it. A third option is an old age home. What is the best option? If we can even ask such a question, because it depends on many things. But does the halacha have what to say about it? Usually we think that these are new questions. In the past, people didn't live as long. Once they became older and ill, they didn't live such a long time. And today, because of medicine and technology, etc., we can help live longer and can help treat a lot of things, even if the quality of life, sometimes at the end of the life, goes down, but still one can stay much, much, much longer. And then you can think that in the past, this question wasn't asked. They were always in the house, and when they became old, pretty quickly they died, and the question wasn't as strong as we have it today. I want to see from the Gemara of Rav Asi that I think this question was very relevant even in the past, and to learn this Gemara and to see what the poskim say about it, how they explain this Gemara, and then to learn to our case today. Okay, so the Gemara in Kiddushin, Daf Lamed Aleph, it's in a few stories talking about Kibud Orim, including the famous story about Dama Benetina from Ashkelon, that the rabbis came and asked for something for Parah Adumah. They didn't want to give them because the key was the key was under his head, etc. So we learned a lot of stories about Kibud Orim. Let's see Rav Asi. We're starting now, number 3, Kiddushin. Rav Asi havelei imaz keina. Rav Asi had an old mother. Amra lei ba'ina tachshitin avadla. She told him, I want jewelry. So he gave her. Ba'ina gavra. I want a man. Probably she's a widow, and I want to remarry. Na'in lach. Okay, we will look for you. Rav Asi tells his mother. Ba'ina gavra de shapir kvatach. I want, his mother tells him, a man, a husband, that is good looking like you. That's what his mother told him. Shavka ve'azal le'arad Yisrael. Rav Asi left his mother in Bavel and fled to Eretz Israel. Let's read the whole story, and afterwards we'll start to discuss it. Shama de ka'az la'abatrei. He heard that she comes after him. He went to Eretz Israel, and somebody tells him, listen, she's on the way. She's on the carriage. She's in the airport coming after you. Ata lekamei de Rabbi Yochanan, amar le ma'u latzet me'eretz lechutz ha'aretz, amar lo asur. Likrat ima mahu, amar lo eini yodea. Rav Asi in Eretz Israel came to Rabbi Yochanan and asked him, can I leave Eretz Israel to go to chutz la'aretz? Rabbi Yochanan said, no. Mitzvah v'yishuv ha'aretz, probably. You shouldn't leave Eretz Israel. Likrat ima mahu, to go. My mother is coming. Can I go out from Eretz Israel to meet her on the way, to respect her, to go out towards her? Rabbi Yochanan says, I don't know. I don't know. Itrach purta hadar ata. So Rav Asi waited a bit and came back to Rabbi Yochanan. Amar le Rabbi Yochanan, Asi nitratzet alatzet, hamakom yachzircha leshalom. Rav Asi came back to Rabbi Yochanan. He didn't get an answer before. Rabbi Yochanan says, Rav Asi, you really want to go? Okay, go in hamakom, God, yachzircha leshalom, would you bring you back safely, leshalom. Ata Rav Asi lekamei de Rabbi Elazar. Amar le Rav Asi le Rabbi Elazar, chas v'shalom dilma mirtach ratach? Ulai koes elai Rabbi Yochanan? Rav Asi came to Rabbi Elazar and said, listen, maybe Rabbi Yochanan is upset at me that I pushed him. Amar le, mai amar lach? So he said, what did he tell you? Amar le, hamakom yachzircha leshalom. That's what he told me. Amar le, v'im ita deratach lo hava mevarech lach. He said, if he would be upset at you, he wouldn't bless you. Meaning, he didn't only tell you the psak is you can leave Eretz Israel. He told you that you can leave and God will bring you back safely. So it means he's not upset at you, meaning he really meant that you, Rav Asi, can go out to see your mother or to meet her on the way and to bring her to Eretz Israel with you. Adehachi vehachi shama le'arona deka'ati. All this time that he went and asked and wasn't sure, Rav Asi heard that the coffin is coming. Meaning, his mother died. She died, and now she's not coming. She is coming now to Eretz Israel, but in the coffin, not on 2 feet. Amar, Rav Asi said, Iyad ei lo nafke. If I would know, I wouldn't go out or want to go out or leave. That's what he said. If I would know it, I wouldn't leave. That's the story of Rav Asi. So I want to start from the beginning. Let's do the first part and then do the second part. The first part is a very difficult question. How did Rav Asi leave his mother? Rav Asi has an old mother. She's asking him questions, and one day Rav Asi comes, takes his bag, and leaves. She's asking him, I want jewelry. Okay. Is that something which we can understand it? That his old mother is asking jewelry? Is it something appropriate? Yes, sometimes old ladies, they want to, to look nice, to have some, something. Okay. I want a husband. She asked him. He said, okay, we'll bring you. Is it something strange that a widow wants to remarry? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know exactly her situation, but it's something that you can see, maybe she wants to remarry. She wants somebody to be with. And Rava said, okay, we'll bring you. We'll take care of it. When she asks, I want a man that is nice like you, Ravasi leaves her. And then the question is, why? Why did Ravasi leave her? So in the poskim, in the mefarshim, I saw three different options. Why did Ravasi leave? The first one is a shiltei giborim. I'll say the three. The first option is that she was a bad person, a negative person, and Ravasi didn't want to learn from her. He preferred to leave her. Second thing, she was crazy, and he left her. And the third option is that he knew he can't take care of her anymore, so he preferred to flee, and not to listen to all of her things that he knew he couldn't do what his mother says. So the first option is that his mother was a bad person. Let's see. שלטי גיבורים. וכן אם רואה אביו ואמו שהם בעלי דעות רעות, ומצערים אותו יותר מדי, ישמט מלפני ויצא. If he sees his parents that they are with bad דעות, bad behaviors, I would say, norms, moral, and מצערים אותו יותר מדי, they are making him mishuganous. It's allowed that he will leave them and go out. And there's a story on one rabbi that he had an old mother, etc. And והייתה מצערתו יותר מדי, she made him mishuganous. So that's why he left her and went to Eretz Israel. And Yam Shel Shlomo says something similar. שאלה שלא כהוגן מרוע הלב. She asks not proper things. מרוע הלב, she was a bad person. That's why he left her and went to a place that she wouldn't see it. She wouldn't see him. So this is the first reason why Ravasi left her. She was a bad person, and she asked him too many things, and he told himself, listen, I can't be here anymore. I have to go. That's the first option. Second option brings a Tosfot. The Tosfot says as follows. והכיר שנטרפה דעתה וברח שלא יוכל לצאת ידי שמיים. What does the Tosfot as I can say? Why did he leave her? In one word. Why did he leave her? She became, let's see, somebody answered. I cannot hear sound suddenly. Okay, can you hear me, all the rest?
We can hear.
Okay, so it's his fault. Okay, so Tosfot Rezaken says, she became crazy. His mother became crazy. She's starting to ask all kinds of strange questions. At the beginning, jewelry, a husband, I thought, okay, she's okay. But then she starts asking for the husband that looks as nice as me. She's crazy. And I have to leave her. שלא יוכל לצאת ידי שמיים. She's asking me something that I can give her. She's mishuganous. If she's that, I don't want to be there because I can't give her what she wants. Or שלא יוכל לצאת ידי שמיים, we'll see soon, I can't take care of her like that. She's asking me something, I can't give it to her. I have a mitzvah of kibud ori, which I can't do. It's better for me to go. That's Tosfot Rezaken. The Bach says, can't be she became mishuganous. Why not? Because the Bach says, דהי אימא לא נטרפה דעתה, אלא זקנה הייתה. ולפי שלא היה יכול להשתדל לבעל כרצונה, הלך ממנה. כדי שלא יעבור יותר על מה שתצווה אותו עוד ולא יוכל לגמר. She didn't become a Meshuggah. She was old, and he didn't leave her as a Meshuggah mother by herself, but she asked him things that he couldn't give her. What she asked, that's why he left her. But מי שנטרפה דעתו שצריך שמירה יתרה, אין הדעת נותנת שיניחם וילך לו. What do Uri Azaken say? You said she became Meshuggah? What do you mean? If she becomes Meshuggah, you can leave her? Now is the time she needs you, Ravasi. The son, maybe the only son. How can you even say, even give a perush that Rav Asi, when his mother is on her worst stage, she needs you the most, now you leave her? Can't be. But the Bach says she wasn't Meshuggah, she was old, and he left her. But it's not that she was in a medical stage that she needed somebody, she needed her son to take care of her. The Radbaz says similar. First of all, the Radbaz says it's not that he left her and didn't do anything. He made
Excuse
sure
me,
somebody...
Rabbi Bloom, I have a question.
Yes.
According to the Bach, the fact that he left, is that l'shevach or l'gnai?
Until now, all the poskim say it's okay. We will see in a minute the Ravid. Until now, from the beginning of the story, it looks okay. They bring him as he did it, and we can learn from it. But in a minute, we'll get to what you say. In a minute, in 10 minutes. Okay, the Radbaz and the Rambam says as follows. אלא ודאי ציווה את אחרים לפרנסה, וזאת תקנתה. First of all, the Radbaz said, he didn't leave her with no one else then. He left, but he made sure other people would take care of her. But the Radbaz says even more, וזאת תקנתה. This is the best way to treat her. What? The best way to treat her is to leave her? Yes, the Radbaz says. Why? שיש לה עליו בן געגועים, ולא מכספה מיני. מה שאין כן באחרים. She has on her son געגועים, she wants him all the time, and she's not ashamed from him. She wouldn't be not afraid from him, but מה שאין כן באחרים, meaning, if her son will be there, she will ask him whatever she wants. If other people will be there, she will know, she wouldn't ask anything. She wouldn't ask stupid things or things that people can't give her. Meaning, the Radbaz says, because it's my son, because it's her son, she started asking him all kinds of things that he can't give. But if it was somebody else taking care of her, so it was okay for her. So it's better for her, for the mother, that the son won't be there. That's what the Radbaz says. But there's something else. Why it's better for other people. What happens if you need to shout at her? ולא מצי לגעור בה, ואחרים גוערים בה. Her son can't shout at her if she does things that are not appropriate, and other people can. ואפשר על ידי הכאה תחזור משטותה. Maybe if you will hit her, she will stop or do less, become crazy or do stupid things. Meaning the Radbaz says sometimes you need the person to shout at them or even to hit them in order that the parent will stop doing, will become normal, more normal, I would say. And the son can't do it. So it's better for the parent that somebody else will take care of him. And the Radbaz finishes, ומעשים בכל יום וכיוצא בזה. Every day there are stories like that, והבן אי אפשר לו לעשות דבר מזה, and the kid can't do it. That's why it's better that somebody else will do it. So we see here the Radbaz says that it's better that Rav Asi didn't leave her because he didn't have koch to take care of her. He did it in order that she will get better treatment. The mother, that other people will take care of her, she will get a better treatment. So we see here mamash machloket. What is bad? The Bach says, of course you can't leave him. The Radbaz says sometimes it's better to leave them. Now, of course, it could be depends what exactly the situation of the parent, but we definitely see different approaches to what is kibud orim. The main two poskim that I think bring the machloket in the best way are the Rambam and Ravid. The Rambam in Ilchot Mamrim, there is one chapter, one or two, I think one chapter that talks mamash on kibud orim, and one or two chapters in Ilchot Mamrim, Perek Vav, and this is what the Rambam brings. מי שנטרפה דעתו של אביו או של אמו, his parents become crazy. משתדל לנהוג עמהם כפי דעתם עד שירוחם עליהם. He tries to take care of them כפי דעתם, even though they're not 100% in their mind, to take care of them as much as he can, עד שירוחם עליהם, meaning until they will get rachamim. What is getting rachamim here? The Rambam doesn't say. Two options. One option, they will become better. Second option, maybe they will pass away. That's the two option here. So that's the first situation. נטרפה דעתו, so you have to take care of them as much as you can. ואם אי אפשר לו לעמוד, מפני שנשתתו ביותר, he can't be there anymore, יניחם וילך לו, ויצווה אחרים להנהיגם כראוי להם. If he can't stand there anymore, he can or he should leave them and go and ויצווה אחרים and ask other people or pay other people to take care of them as appropriate as what the treatment they should get. That's what the Rambam says, and it's pretty clear that the Rambam brings it from our story of Rav Asi, that he understands that his mother became shota, became crazy, and that's why Rav Asi left, and that's what one can or should do. Why can't he stand there anymore? So I think there are two options. One option is what the Radbaz said before. He can't stand there because he can't treat her because he needs to do physical things against her that he can't do. That's the first option. He needs to hit her and he can't. Second option is the parent asks him to do things that he can't do. And if they ask him and he doesn't do it, it's not kibud orim, so it's better to leave. That's the second option, that they ask him things he can't do. And the third option, what is if shalu la'amod, he can't stand, is his feelings. It's too much. It's too difficult for him to see his parent in such a bad situation, and it's difficult for him. It's too difficult. If it was the first stage, the Rambam says, you should take care of him. But there is a stage, a person maybe tells himself, it's too much for me. My parent that took care of me, and I remember he's everything for me, and to see him in such a terrible situation, it's too difficult for me. I can't do it. I'll make sure somebody else takes care of him, but I can't be there anymore. That's the third option to understand the Rambam. The Ravid says, here's my interpretation. It says, are you crazy? What do you mean? It's your parent. The Ravid says, on this Rambam, מי שנטרפה דעתו של אביו וכולי, יניחם וילך לו, ויצווה אחים להנהיגם כראוי, brings the Rambam. אמר אברהם, אין זו הוראה נכונה. Not true. Don't do it. אם הוא ילך ויניח לו, למי יצווה לשומרו? עד כאן לשלום. If you, the kid, you leave your parents, who will you ask to take care of them? If you leave them, what? Somebody else will take care of them? That's what the Ravid says. So what does the Ravid say? What you should do? You should stay there. It's difficult for you? Okay. What, do you think for your parents it was easy to change your nappies when you were 6 months old and all of your, I don't know, when you were a teenager and all the problems you did to him and all the sleepless nights and whatever. It was difficult. Of course it was difficult. Okay, they're still your parents. So now it's a bit difficult for emotionally. So, okay, take care of yourself. It's your problem. But taking care of your parents, to leave them like that, how can you do it? What will the Rambam says? What will the Rambam answer in the Ravid? The Ravid has a good question. If you leave them, who will take care of them? So what do you mean? The Rambam said, what do you mean? You will pay someone to take care of them. The Ravid is not so understood. If you leave, who will you ask to take care of them? What do you mean, who will you ask? The Rambam said, pay someone and they will take care of him. Just like I can, I don't know, clean his mouth of the parent or, I don't know, take him to the shower. So somebody else can do it. I'll pay him. What does the Ravid mean when he asks, Lemi etzaveh l'shamro? Who can I tell to protect or take care of the parents? The Rambam said, somebody else. I think what the Ravid means is that it's not the same. What does the Ravid mean? When you pay somebody to take care of the parents, so maybe they will do the technical things that should be done. But taking care of your parents, the Ravid says, is not only doing the technical things, is the extra, the more, the talking to them, the smiling to them, to do all the things that are extra, not only the cleaning and washing, etc. And that, the Ravid says, nobody can do better than you. Nobody can take in a holistic way of your parents better than you. Whoever you would pay to do it instead of you will do it, but it won't be the same. So that's what the Ravid says. I think that because Kibud Orim is something that nobody can do as good as you, so you can't leave them. You can't leave them. En zo ra'a nechona, even if it's very difficult, you have to stay with them and to take care of them till the end.
So Rav Asi's fault was that he left. In other words, he could have paid somebody else, but he should have remained.
Oh, nachon. So be'etzem, you know what? Let's keep on now. What is according to the story, who was right? The Rambam or the Ravid? Did Rav Asi do the right thing or not? The Rambam says he did the right thing. So we learn from him. The Ravid says, no, he shouldn't leave them. Meaning, Rav Asi didn't do the right thing. I think their machloket is connected to the end of the story. Let's go back to the end of the story. What did we say at the end of the story? The end of the story, Rav Asi left his mother. He went to Eretz Israel. Now he heard that she's coming. So he was debating if to leave Eretz Israel to Chutz La'aretz or not. And he wasn't sure. And he was asking yes, no. At the end, he decided, he got a psak that he's allowed to go out. And then he heard that she died. And then he said the sentence, if I would know, I wouldn't leave. The question is, what to leave from where? When he says, if iyad lo nafke, if I would know, I wouldn't leave, the question is to leave where? Two options. First option is, what do you mean? I wouldn't leave Eretz Israel, Bavel. I left Bavel to Eretz Israel, and I asked somebody else to take care of her. But what happened? She left. She couldn't do without me. And she came the whole way from Bavel to Eretz Israel, an old lady in the ancient times, and on the way, she died. Why did she die? Rav Asi tell himself, because of me. I left her and she died. Maybe I left her and she died because of the journey, which is very difficult for an old lady, and she came after me, so because of the journey she died. Or maybe she died from sorrow because I left her. That's, I left her and it did something to her heart and she died. It took her a few weeks until she was on the way. But the point that I left her, I killed her. So Rav Asi tells himself, if I would know that, I wouldn't leave. That's the first option. Second option to say, no. What Rav Asi says, if I would know, I wouldn't leave. This is about the second part of the story. To go out from Bavel, from Eretz Israel, to meet her on the way. Rav Asi was debating if I can leave Eretz Israel to Chutz La'aretz in order to welcome my mother. And maybe even I started going out. But that's only to welcome my mother, a living mother. But to go out from Eretz Israel to Chutz La'aretz in order to see the coffin, that's not what I thought. To do kibud orim, yes, maybe I can leave Eretz Israel, but just to meet the coffin on the way, that's not. Where do we see these two options? In the Mefarshim. The Maharsha says, this is the Pnei Yoshua. דאף על גב דתנינן בסמוך מכבדן בחייו ומכבדן במותו, even though we wrote that you have kibud orim even after they die, היינו דבר שיש בו תועלת למת. כגון לומר דבר שמועה מפיו, או הרינו כפרת משכבו. To do kibud orim after they die is only something that is some sort of benefit for the dead person, like to say a halacha in his name, or to say הרינו כפרת משכבו. מה שאין כן לצאת לקראת ארונו, לא. To go out towards the coffin, that's no kibud orim. And if it's no kibud orim, so going out from Eretz Yisrael to Chutz La'aretz is not an appropriate thing. Why is this relevant? And so probably Rav Asi was a Kohen. And we know that Kohanim to leave Eretz Yisrael is even more problematic than regular people. So today we have many kulot, even Kohanim, many of them leave Eretz Yisrael for all kinds of things. But in the time of the Gemara, we see here, the Yerushalmi asks a Kohen that he needs to go out to Tzor for a mitzvah, to do a yibum. Is he allowed to go out to Chutz La'aretz or not to do a mitzvah? And the Yerushalmi debates. Korban Neda explains, לעשות דבר מצוות דכהן אסור לצאת לחו"ל דגזרו טומאה על ארץ העמים. Chazal said that all of Eretz Amim, all of Chutz La'aretz is tameh because of the kvarim, whatever. But there's tumah in Chutz La'aretz, tumah midirabanan, but tumah. So a regular person to leave Eretz Israel, it's easier. But a Kohen, it's much more complicated halachically. So when Rav Asi asked his rabbi, "Can I leave Eretz Israel to Chutz La'aretz, even to go, I don't know, only a few days, only a few kilometers to meet my mother on the way here?" Well, it's going out to Chutz La'aretz. So just like the Yerushalmi debates about going for a mitzvah to Tzor, to leave Eretz Israel to do a mitzvah yibum, so he asked, "Can I, a Kohen, go out to Chutz La'aretz to do kibud orim?" And at the end, he got the psak that yes, but after he left, probably, and I'm going back to the story, and she died, so he tells himself, to see the coffin, that wasn't the issue. Iyadei lo nafkei, if what I meant to go leave Eretz Israel is for kibud orim when they're alive, but not after they died. So from the last sentence here, we have two different options. What does he regret? Does he regret leaving Bavel from the beginning? Meaning that the conclusion of the story is Rav Asi shouldn't leave her, shouldn't have left his mother, which is what the Ravid thinks, that he shouldn't leave his mother, and it was a mistake, and maybe even she died because of him. That's how the Ravid reads the story. So the Ravid learned the story, that the conclusion is you shouldn't leave your parents. Look what Rav Asi did. He left her, and then she died because of him. And he understands it and says, Iyadei lo nafkei, I shouldn't have left her. So what we should learn from it, the Ravid says, is we shouldn't leave our parents even when they're in a very difficult stage. The second option says, no, what Rav Asi says at the end is only something more, I would say, small. If I can live as a Kohen, Eretz Yisrael techutz laaretz, in order to do kibud orin after they die. But Rav Asi didn't say anything about leaving his mother, meaning he thought, and we learned from it as well, that it was a valid thing to do. It was okay to leave his mother, his old mother. The Rambam says, you pay somebody else to take care of her, but it was a valid option. So the Rambam learns from the story in Kiddushin, from the beginning, what Rav Asi did was okay. And then at the end, it's a different story about her dying. It wasn't because of him, it was because of something else. Okay. So I think from here, if we think of today, so I think we can mamash learn the Rambam and Ravid. The Ravid says we should take care of the parents, let's say, till the end. It's our responsibility. We should be here. We should be there. The Rambam says, no, you can let somebody else take care of them. I think today in our modern world, the option of bringing them into our house is very, very complicated. And most people say, what they do, they bring a worker. Why do they bring a worker? This is because something we talked about, but not so much, is there are things that you shouldn't do to your parents. Meaning, if they're old, then somebody needs to take them to the toilet. Are you allowed to see your parents half naked? Or to take them to the shower? It's very problematic halachically. I have a whole shiur about that. What can you do? Can you see your parents without clothes? When yes, when no. Rav Rimon has a very interesting article, but it's not so easy halachically and as well emotionally. So I think the best option, if we can say that, is to bring somebody to take care of them. But what does the Ravid say? The Ravid says, Shmira, you have to protect them. You take care. Nobody will do it better than you, and that's true. So in order to make sure they're taking care, the kid can't, what Rav Asi did, that's something else, to leave from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. That's in their time. But today, at least in Eretz Yisrael, we have the best option is somebody else will take care of them every day. But you, the kid, is still there. We're here. We're going to meet them every week, twice a week, every 2 weeks, Shabbatot, whatever. And we make sure that they're getting taken care of. Not like, I don't know, putting the parents in an old age home and going to see that once every 2 months. Maybe the Ravid says that's not kibud orim. But if somebody else takes care of them on the daily basis, and you come, but relatively a lot, maybe even the Ravid will say, maybe, okay, lechatchila even you can do it. So I think it's very interesting to learn from the Gemara about this dilemma. Again, it's of course we all understand it's much more complicated. Depends on the parent, how the financial issue of the kids and the parents, and where they live, different continent, same country, how far, what do they want? Do they want to leave the house to an age home? Do they want somebody else to come here? What exactly is their mental and medical situation? But just to give a broader looking on the topic, I think this Gemara is very, very interesting. Now, for the last 15 minutes, I want to bring a tshuva of the Tzitzilias. And the tshuva starts with the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch says as follows: מי שנטרפה דעת אביו ואמו, משתדל לנהוג עמהם כפי דעתם עד שירוחם עליהם. ואם אי אפשר לו לעמוד מפני שנשתגעו ביותר, ילך לו ויניחם, ויצווה לאחרים לנוהגם כראוי. So the Shulchan Aruch brings, in this Siman Reish Mem that we talked about Hilchot Kibud Orim, that if your parents became crazy, you take care of them as much as you can until Bezrat Hashem they will have rachamim. And if you can't, because they became too mishuganes, leave them and make sure other people treat them. The Shulchan Aruch is exactly word by word of the Rambam. But there's one word missing. Look at the end of the sentence. ילך לו ויניחם, ויצווה לאחרים לנוהגם כראוי. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says. The Rambam has here, יניחם וילך לו, ויצווה אחרים להנהיגם כראוי להם. The Rambam adds one word that makes sure that other people treat them karaui, as proper, lahem, for them. The proper treatment for them. That's what the Rambam brings. And the Shulchan Aruch didn't bring it. Only v'tzaveh lachem lenoagam karaui. What's the difference? The Tzitz Eliezer says, whoa, what a big difference we have here. The Tzitz Eliezer, Rav Woldenberg, Chelek Yudbet Siman Nuntet, is asked about a very difficult question about an old mother that she became crazy, and he was asked, Tzitz Eliezer, can the son tie her? Can the son tie her in order that she won't start to be crazy and to start maybe break things, etc.? And I just say, my wife is a nurse in a Pnimit here in Beilinson, and you have some people like that you have to tie them, because if not, they will start taking out the tzinorot of the tubes and maybe even breaking things. So sometimes you have to tie them, and it's a very difficult thing. Somebody that is still somehow understands, to tie him, very difficult. And a kid to tie his parents, but what do you do if you won't do it? They can harm themselves, they can harm other people, they can harm the things around them. What do you do? So the Tzitz Eliezer learns from this word, one word, lahem, that the Rambam said and the Shulchan Aruch didn't. What is the psak for this question? מי שאימו נטרפה דעתה עליה, אם הבן מותר לקושרה בחבל אל כיסא כדי שלא תשתולל. If your mother is crazy, is the son allowed to tie her with a rope to a chair in order that she won't harm other things? נשאלתי שוב, זה שואל, שוחט ובודק, במשוחת, תלמיד חכם אחד, היות ואימו נטרפה דעתה עליה לא עלינו. ומפריעה בצורה חריפה סדר ושלום הבית. I was that from one rabbi, the mother is crazy, and she interrupts and does a whole balagan, seder v'shlom habayit, and we understand that she lives with the kid, yes, or she lives with her son and his family. אם מותר לו לקושרה בחבל אל כיסא כפי פקודת הרופא כדי שלא תשתולל. Is he allowed to tie her to a chair, just like the doctor says? So, the Tzitz Eliezer said, where would we learn that? From our story, Rav Asi. והנה הייתה בגמרא קידושין, אצטרה, למדנו בפשטות, דכל שמכיר באביו או אמו שנטרפה דעתם, ולא יוכל לעמוד נגדם. If you know that your parents נטרפה דעתם and you can't stand there, אין לו ברירה אחרת כדי לצאת ידי שמיים. You don't have another solution in order to fulfill the mitzvah, אלא לעוזבם ולמוסרם בידי אחרים וללכת מהם. Your only option in order to fulfill kibud orim is to leave them and let other people take care of them. That's how the Tzitz Eliezer understands the Gemara of Rav Asi. It's not that Rav Asi, okay, well, he wasn't strong enough and he left her. No, Allah, that's what he should have done. והנה, סעיף ג' לפלא הדבר, שהן הטור והן השולחן ערוך שינו בדבריהם מזה בלשונו של הרמב"ם. It's a strange thing that the Tur and Shulchan Aruch changed what the Rambam said. וברמב"ם כתוב בלשון, ויצווה לאחרים להנהיגם כראוי להם. That's what the Rambam says. ואילו הטור והשולחן ערוך השמיטו תיבת להם, וגם שינו והעתיקו בלשון, ויצווה לאחרים לנוהגם קרוי, so they changed a bit, but they didn't write this word of להם. ולפי עניות דעתי, the ציץ אליעזר says, דווקא שינוי זה הוא הקובע בכוונת דברי הרמב"ם וביישוב דבריו. So ציץ אליעזר said, this word that the Shulchan Aruch left, exactly we can understand that that's exactly the point. That's exactly this little word, lahem, karaui lahem, is appropriate to them. That's really what the Rambam means. And because of this word that the Shulchan Aruch maybe forgot or didn't think it's so important, the Tzidkiyah said, no, this is the most important, and now we can understand exactly what he means. וכפי הגרסה שלפנינו ברמב"ם גופי, עם תיבת להם, נוכל למצוא הכוונה האמיתית בדבריו. And according to our גרסה that we have in the Rambam, that the Rambam wrote, with the word להם, we can find the real intention of the Rambam. ובאופן שיורדות ממילא ההשגות עליו מהרייבד, ומהגדולים הנזכרים לעיל המחזקים את השגתו. And we can explain him in a way that all the questions of the Ravid and the people go according to him, all the questions of the Ravid and his followers and the Rambam drops from themselves. Why? Because of this word of the Rambam. I'm reminding, what did the Ravid ask about the Rambam? The Ravid asked, how can you leave your parents? Well, do you leave the parents only because אי-אפשר לו לעמוד, because you can't stand, because it's difficult for you, for the son? That's what the Pshat of the Rambam says. So the Ravid says, what do you mean? So what? The mitzvot are easy. It's difficult for you. Your problem. The Tzidkiyah said, no. It's not what the Rambam meant. You didn't understand what the Rambam meant. The Rambam didn't mean situation that it's emotionally difficult for me, the kid, to see the parent. That's maybe true that the Ravid, that I should still take care of them. What the Rambam said that I can and should leave the parents and ask other people to take care of them is because of the word lahem. Let's explain. The kavanat Rambam, I'm here. The kavanat Rambam היא על גוונה שאי אפשר לו לעמוד איתם. The Rambam explains on a situation that you can't stand and to be with them. מפני שהיות ונשתתו ביותר, יש מן ההכרח להתנהג איתם באלימות, כקשירתם בחבלים או להכותם, because there's such a I don't know, dimension or dementia or I don't know, delirium, I don't know, whatever they have, that you have to, yesh min ha'irach, you have to be violent with them, like tying them or even hitting them. וזה הבן לא יוכל לעשות מפני צו התורה עליו. The son can't do, because the Torah tells him that he can't do that. In brackets, there's a halachic question about doing some sort of a medical, let's say, זריקת, זריקה, no, help me? Injection that will take out blood. So some poskim say you can't do an injection to your parents because chovel aviv imo. The Torah says chovel aviv imo mot yumad. Even if you have a good intention, still it's kibudun. You can't do that. So it's a machloket if it's exactly that's the halacha. But the Rambam for sure says the Torah tells you there are things you can't do. וזהו שכותב הרמב"ם, שיניחם וילך לו, ויצווה לאחרים להנהיגם כראוי להם. As appropriate for them, for the parents, meaning, להם, in this situation, that what's appropriate for them, what you should do for them is being violent. ורצונו לומר שאחרים ינהיגו אותם באלימות כראוי להם, כפי הנצרך להם להתנהג איתם בהתאם לשטותם, ויורדות מאליהן כל ההשגות שמשיגים על הרמב"ם בזה, כמובן. And that's what it means, that the other people will be violent like what's appropriate, the treatment for them, for the parent. And all the questions of the Ravid and others and the Rambam are done, because even the Rambam didn't mean the regular situation to leave them. He meant in a situation that what the best treatment is mamash to be violent with the parents. That's what the Tzitz Eliezer says. And I think again he learns it from our psak, from our story. I want we have 5 more minutes, so I'll say something short, which is connected to this. When Barzilai Giladi, it said that when David Amelech ran away, from Avshalom, so he went to Ever Yarden, and then there was a person called Barzilai Giladi, and he helped David. When David came back to be a king, so he wanted to give a reward to Barzilai Giladi. So David tells Barzilai, listen, you helped me. Come, I'm going back to Yerushalayim. Come with me. And the pasuk says, "V'chilkalti otcha imadi b'Yerushalayim." I'll take care of you. You can eat on my table. You know, I want to reward you. And then Barzilai Giladi says, listen, David, I'm 80 years old. I'll read the pasuk. Ben 80 שנה אנוכי היום, העדה בין טוב לרע, do I know the difference between good and bad? אם יטעם עבדך את אשר אוכל ואת אשר אשתה, can I enjoy the foods that you will offer me? I'm 80 years old. אם אשמע עוד בכל שרים ושרות, I can enjoy the music. ולמה יהיה עבדך עוד למסע אל אדוני המלך? I don't want to be a burden on you. And then he said, okay, my son Kimham will come with you. And then David takes care of his son Kimham, and that's the instead of doing it to Barzilai, he does it to Kimham. I think that sometimes the older parents, there's something like Barzilai. ולמה יהיה עבדך עוד למסע אל אדוני המלך? The old parent doesn't want to be a burden on his son. He knows that he's already old. He knows that his son has already a family and kids and sometimes even grandchildren. And he doesn't want his son, instead of taking care of his family, to be with him all day and all night. And so sometimes even respect, I'm saying this is part of it depends, of course, the parents, but sometimes the parent, even when he's very old, he wants to help his kid, but he can't help it anymore because now it's vice versa. Sometimes the parent helping his kid is making sure that the kid doesn't help his parent too much. You understand? The older parent saying, I don't want to be a burden on my kid because he has already family, kids, grandchildren. And the way I will help my kid, just like I helped him for 80 years, is now that he wouldn't waste. It's not a waste, but he wouldn't come to me too much and take care of me too much, because then it will be a burden on him. And sometimes that's what the old person wants. Sometimes no, of course, but sometimes the kibud orim is to know that the parent doesn't want you to be too much there, because he sees if you come too much and it's instead of your shlom bayit with your kids, with your grandchildren. So sometimes it's not the best option, even though you think that is the best for kibud orim. So I think we'll stop here. What I gave is one agenda, one way of looking. Just a minute, Mr. Golin. And there's much more to talk about the subject, but